Why do I need to stress myself just because I want to rent a house? This is 21st century. I don't need to go through all this whole stress just to get somewhere. The renting market is a huge one, a very big market, and probably not tapped so well because people just pick the different niche like that. So if you want to do house, you want to do this. But for us at Rent24, we just want to give that platform. It's a one-stop platform for anything renting. So you want to rent anything, you come in stress-free. You don't need to go through all the hurdle just to find that thing. Anambra is too low. This is a tech product, for God's sake. So we're looking at like, how would these people accept this? Yeah, we did our research and also discovered that part of it. Most of them were not willing to run card transactions, things they want to see before they and all those stuff. So that was also part of the challenge we had. The adoption or penetration rate here is actually very low. I was somewhere where somebody was saying she used boats in Lagos. But coming here, there's no boat again. But these guys have been here. We've had e-hailing platforms here. Why didn't you use it? So when government creates that pool for funding enough, you create that pool for funding, fund these startups, educate them more, because there's one thing to give somebody money, there's another thing for the person to be able to know how to use that money. So when they have this funding, they have this government backing. To be honest, the sky is not just our limit down here.
Welcome to another episode of Bridging the Gap with Activate Media. My name is Ralu Chukuma Mezie Okoye, the founder and CEO of Activate Hub here in Oka. And today we have another special guest, as we always do. He is a founder and a tech bro. Thank you once again for watching Bridging the Gap. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. When you said tech bro, I was taken aback a bit. Okay. Anyway, for just a bit of introduction, my name is Paul Dominic, the founder of Rent24. Rent24 is basically a platform that helps connect people that owns property and those who that need this property. So basically, we offer a seamless rental process for people looking for rental properties, and also an opportunity for people to make money renting their product. So that's what we do at Rent24.
Okay. Off question before we dive in, but most of the platform Anambra listings or Oka listings, or is it more of national?
Okay, so we actually starting with Anambra for a start, because Rent24 it's more like an Anambra-based startup.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. We're just out of Anambra.
Yeah.
We have a vision to go outside this boundary, but just step-by-step growth. We just want to conquer Anambra, conquer the southeast before we cross across boundary. So for now, we're just here in this location.
Just a little bit, like just talking about your experience, yeah? Just to have a little bit of background that led to where you are today.
Okay, so every founder from experience I've discovered obviously has a story. So most startups are actually born out of personal experience from some of the founders, and I'm no different from these persons or these stories. For me, it was out of a challenge I had in the past that actually made me to rethink the whole process. This was back then in I think 2018, 2019. Yes. So I'd finished my NYC back then, and I came into Anambra to see if I can start life here and just stay a bit, do some things, and then leave again. So I came down to town and I just needed to settle down. Usually a newbie coming into the town, yeah, you just need somewhere to stay and everything. So when I was about getting accommodation back then, it was hectic, really hectic. Every other person can testify to this story, because for me that was my first experience. Funny as it sounds, my university days I wasn't doing any hostel or renting anything, because I was going from home to school and the rest. So coming down, even when I did my service here, somebody had rented. I just went into that place. So this was my first time going through the whole process of, say you want to rent something. I started doing house hunting, as we call it, a very hectic process. So I got the regular agents we usually have, got the agent, and then, okay, agent, get this thing for me. This is what I want. Funny enough, you get the property. It's either I don't like it, it's above my budget, I don't like where this property is, I don't like how this property looks like. So the whole process was hectic. The agent for me got somewhere, but probably the budget was not accommodating what I had. The type of property was not what I wanted. The location of property wasn't what I wanted. So it was a whole lot of hectic process. Okay, was there any other option for me? I decided to go down to the street and find these properties for myself. But then you're down in the street, you have work to do, you're going house hunting, time is going, it's so much stress for you. And as discouraging as it can get, you won't even see what you want. So I sat back and I was like, why do I need to stress myself just because I want to rent a house? For God's sake, this is 21st century. I don't need to go through all this whole stress just to get somewhere. So that was when I had to sit down and recollect. What if I can sit down, get my phone, and then find somewhere to rent, even pay for it, and then move in at the same time? So that was when the idea of Rent24 just came into my head, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is it. But what we eventually started doing was, it's renting. We shouldn't settle just for renting accommodations alone. The renting market is a huge one, a very big market, and probably not tapped so well because the people just pick the different niche like that. Okay, you want to do house, you want to do this. But for us at Rent24, we just want to give that platform where you can find, it's a one-stop platform for anything renting. So you want to rent anything, you come in stress free. You don't need to go through all the hurdle just to find that thing. The owners are already on the platform. You come in, see them negotiate, see the properties you want, then book you for renting. So that's the genesis of how Rent24 came about, and that is how we started.
So what you're saying, let me say stuff like rent anything. We have space rentals and activate hub. Are you saying that we could be on your list and also for people looking to rent a space for say co-working space, for instance? Because you use the word rent anything.
Yes, rent anything. But we've seen the co-working space is a niche on its own. So we're not diving into that. So we're not doing co-working space because that's another market on its own, another huge market on its own. But we're just doing any of that. Like I usually tell people, we rent anything as a human beings. So we're not doing co-working space because that's a different niche on its own.
Okay. I just wanted to ask because of what you said. When do you guys launch? When was the launch of Rent24?
So the idea hit me. It said 2018 to 19. So started working in the background, but we came into work fully 2022 because there were some other challenges we had. Running a startup is not easy. Talk more of in Southeast Anambra State. So the basic challenge everybody that wants to build starts having is funding, especially first timers. You may not know how to raise funds and everything. So funding was one of the challenges we had, but luckily enough, we were able to join the Tunil Melu Foundation program back then. And luckily, Rent24 myself was were lucky to be part of the winner star here. And that seed funding, I would say, actually went a long way to help us get to where we are. So we started, I would put it 2022.
So that was when it was like web app was launched.
Yeah.
So is it like an application? Is it just a website where you can go to? So how is the platform itself? How is it run?
Okay, so we did our research on before we started going into production or product development, as we call it. We started with a website, rent24ng.com. That's the website. So from our research, we discovered people would actually incline more on checking out the website and then running their services on the platform. But we still have plans to get the mobile application for people that will want to use that.
Okay, makes sense. So, I mean, you're speaking on challenges.
Yes.
Earlier. So I was just going to still bring you back to those challenges. I don't think we really portrayed challenges enough, but like you said, it's a bit dicey in this part of the world, this part of Nigeria, when it comes to technology, startups, and the rest. And then we have a lot of challenges. Everybody who's been here always has one challenge or another. Most of the time, we get to hear funding. Yeah,
it's a common.
I mean, that's a challenge for everybody, everywhere in the world. But I'm more peculiar to the challenges based on our geographical location. So what challenges comes with just operating out of here? Yeah,
so as you said, funding, every founder will always tell you, funding is a common one and it's usually the first one. But then aside funding, because I know every other person will talk about funding. For here in the South is in Anambra. So when we started, one of the challenge we had was the fact that, take it or leave it, the technology adoption in this part of Nigeria is still low. Technology adoption in Anambra is too low. So, and this is a tech product for God's sake.
Mm.
So we're looking at like how would these people accept this? Yeah, we did our research and also discovered that part of it. Most of them were not willing to run card transactions,
Mm.
all these things
Trust
they want
issues.
to see before they and all those stuff. So that was also part of the challenge we had. The adoption or penetration rate here what is actually very low. So what we decided to do was anyway, our product is for everybody, not really everybody, but we just wanted to capture the student market, the core members market, and few of them event management market and all this stuff.
Mm.
We feel once that market is captured, because these are the tech savvy ones,
Yeah.
once that market is captured, the other part of it would now come into it. This will basically be like the late adopters or something. So that technology adoption has been a challenge. It's very, very, very challenging.
Mm.
You're telling a businessman in main market to list his product on this platform, then a businessman in main market to pay through card and the rest. It's challenging. Even if other startups or company tell you this is it's working for them, but it took a long while for them to penetrate and convince these people.
Yeah.
I think there was a time I saw a documentary by Money Point, how Money Point was explaining how they had successfully covered main market and just. But I will categorically tell you, if we had that generation of our fathers and our mothers in that main market now, it won't work.
Mm.
It won't work.
Mm.
So they are just lucky. Now those generation have been taken over by their children who have gone to school and then they've seen the benefit
More
of
exposure.
technology exactly in
Yeah.
this thing. So that's what's making penetration easy for them.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all. And one other thing we see with the penetration in technology is the fact that, as surprising as it is, when technology comes into this part of the country, they won't accept. But when you take the people from here to other part of the country where you have this technology, take Lagos for instance, they will use it. When they're bringing it here, they think it's alien.
Yeah.
But then when they go there, they feel it's something they can use. I was somewhere where somebody was saying she used boats in Lagos. But coming here, there's no boat again. But these guys have been here. We've had e-hailing platforms here.
Mm.
Why didn't you use it? You waited till you went to Lagos, you had to download the boat app.
Yeah.
So it's a problem down here and it's challenging for us as tech startups, but it's something we always have to work on. I know soon because of the generation coming in and going in, the ones coming in, the whole Gen Z thing,
Mm.
they'll be used to this technology and then they can take off from there. But that's just about the adoption of technology as a challenge. Oh, there are other challenges that comes with this whole thing.
Mm.
I don't know if I have to pour everything here. Probably when we're going, we'll talk about them too.
I mean, but after talking about challenges, what are the opportunities there?
Yes, it's a whole lot. I've seen the Southeast as a virgin land for businesses and startups. It's a virgin land. I mean, for me, I'd said if you could conquer here, there won't be a problem to conquer other parts of the country. So there are limited startups here. So I feel this is somewhere you can come in and leverage on. There are businesses depending on what a problem your startup is solving. I mean, there are lots of businesses. If you're doing a business to business kind of model, this is where you find them. Businesses are here. You can leverage on them, even if it's a business customer model. Very fine. They will all work here. So it's a virgin land. There are opportunities. It's a growing market. It's a growing market. So the opportunities are there for first timers. Come in, get the trust. You can then go anywhere to do your business.
So okay, so in terms of Rent24, I was going to ask about like milestones, like in terms of how has the usage been over time, growth, how many people are using the website, how many listings have people, how many houses have people found, how has it solved the problem that you faced?
All right, so let me just step back a bit to how we started and how we were able to grow because that will also help a bit. So when we started, it's usually this whole thing. Anyway, they always tell every founder, just start somewhere. Start somewhere. You don't need to wait to get that $1 billion funding before you start going. So the funding was not there initially. So but we had to start. So how did we start? As simple as it sounds, we basically started off with just creating social media pages. So I had social media page, did Google listing, and then we're feeding the social media platforms. We had dedicated lines and handles and everything. And interestingly, we're getting people reaching out from those platforms or medium even before we went into product development.
Yeah.
So that was how we started. So we also got in touch with few property owners around service apartments, regular accommodations, and event centers and the rest, property owners. So we got in touch with them, told them this is what we do and this is what we're offering. Then they were all willing to be part of it. I mean, we have up to before we onboarded, we had up to 200 property owners already. I mean, this was just us starting at that point, which we have actually grown from there to now. As regards usage, we've had users. It's interesting. I keep saying this as one of the powers of social media. We've had clients from outside the country that have called us for services for one or two persons down here, even while they are there. So it's something that I would say we had grown from what we used to be before to what we are now. Customer base is across the country. We get messages, we get requests, people asking for some of these properties. I would just quickly go back to one of the challenge we had, which is something we're working on. Also because of the trust issue, because it takes us more in terms of customer acquisition too. Most of the property owners, you need a lot of convincing to do to them that it's okay, list your properties,
Yeah.
you get people. The simple truth I will tell you is there are people that want to rent properties, take it or leave it. There are demands every day
Every single day.
that I want this property. Where can I find this? What's the capacity of this? Can I get so thing like this? It's there. So we always tell the property owners, just come and put it on this platform. You don't have a problem with would it be rented or not. You always see people. The demand is high. The demand for rental properties is high. And that's one interesting thing about the rental market.
Yeah.
The demand is high and it cuts across location. As I said, we've had customers or users from outside demanding for rental properties even while they're not here.
Yeah.
So we've grown, I would say, from that particular number. Also, one other thing we've been able to leverage on is we have a community of renters. I would want to put it that way. So the community had been there. They've been pushing for the product. They've been using the product. They give their recommendation and every other thing. Basically, Rent24 is actually built for the users, not just for us. So the users are actually the ones that help in the building process of our product. But we're still building. So we still have versions coming in. So,
Yeah, as it should.
yeah.
So in terms of revenue, like what's like the revenue model basically? Where does is it commission based service, or is it advertising based on your website and the numbers coming to the website, right? So I'm just trying to figure out at what point, because you don't own the properties at all, and would you consider you guys as agents or something? So how do you get to know? So the phone number of the property owner is possibly on the website, and then the user contacts them directly. So where do you come in terms of revenue?
All right. So basically, there are a whole lot of our model actually encompasses just commission is part of it. Let me just put that. We actually charge commission on items rented on our platform, but then we also have other revenue model we use on our platform. But I'll just speak on commission for first. So basically, we charge commission on items rented on our platform. So if it's crypto, you say you charge gas fee. Yeah, so for us, that's what we charge, and our commission is not too big. So what basically happens is the property owner lists the property on our platform for free. We don't charge you for listing. Listing is free. So you list your property on the platform. The user comes, see your properties. You're putting up a picture, a video for them to have a real experience of what the property looks like. So it doesn't look like what I ordered. This is what I got. So the details of the property is listed, every other thing. So when the user comes, you flip through. If it fits your price, very fine. If it doesn't fit your price, do the search. If it's in your location, so we have a search option where you can pick according to what you want. So when you pick, you see what you want. You then book. For some persons, who they want to book for inspection, they want to see the properties first before they go. So you can basically book that property for inspection. Okay. Yeah. So again, Rent24 is not just about houses. We do service apartments and other items, fashion and the rest. So if you want to book for inspection, you book it, see the property.
Yeah, and you're able to make payment on the website as well.
Yes, it also receives payment, which is credited to the property owner's wallet. Yeah. So you see the property, you book for it, you go and see it. If you want it, you pay for it. Then it gets credited to the person that owns the property.
Let me like, I mean, what are the like risks and
Yes.
quality control checks that you have to do from your end to ensure that is not what I ordered versus, what I got? What are the risks like that are involved, right? And then quality control checks that you do. You made mention of payment on the website, right? It does it cut across every single listing there. So if, for instance, I see an apartment that I like and it's a 1 year payment, like a rental apartment for 1 year. I pay directly through the website, yeah? And then what are the quality control checks that if tomorrow I come and I go to check the place, it's not what I want.
Mm,
I want my money back. I don't know, get my point.
mm.
So that's like the risk, how you guys deal with such challenges and things when they come up.
All right. So first off, if a property owner wants to list his property, for us, we first of all do a verification on that listing first. We verify the listing if it meets all our condition before we can then approve that listing to go up online. So we verify and approve all our listings before they go online. Also, there's always a refund policy. If you don't want, you get refunded. Also, we have an option aside paying online. You can actually pay on site
Okay.
if you feel you want to see it before you start making that payment. Fine, we have that option for you to pay on site. So which actually cuts the fact that you're scared of paying online and you don't see what you ordered. So that is it for that payment process. Then there are other quality control measures we have in stock to release too, because it's always a building process. So we see one or two challenges, we try to resolve that. I wouldn't want to talk about all those here, all those things here, but we're still working on some of the solutions, some of the quality control challenges we have. But one thing I want to assure you is verifications on property are made before listings are approved. Then you can always get your a refund if you don't like it.
Okay, makes sense. And so my next question is about like the whole Anambra tech ecosystem.
Okay.
How you see it, how you see the future of it. I know you're a player
Mm.
here. We've met in a couple of events stuff. But then so far from when you started service here and now, what growth have you seen so far? And what predictions are you looking to make for the next 5, 10 years?
Okay, I would say there've been some level of growth from that the last time. There've been some level of growth. As at then, I don't think I can pinpoint one or two startups we had back then, but now there are some numbers of startups that are coming up. So I want to really say there've been some level of growth, though slow,
Mm.
but it's still growing.
Yeah.
Though slow. So I just wish some things could be put in place in the ecosystem to give speed to this growth we're experiencing. I mean, a lot of things, the funding, the opportunity, the regulation, and every other thing. Take it or leave it too. Government has the part to play in building this ecosystem, in as much as we as players also have our parts to do.
Mm.
But sometimes when the regulations are not favorable and government is not creating that enabling environment for startups to grow, it becomes a problem. So the growth is there, but the growth is slow.
Mm.
And there's also a need for collaboration also, I would want to say. There's a need for collaboration. This is not a competition, especially in a field like this that we're still trying to grow. You don't need to compete.
I agree.
You basically need to contribute and go forward. So when we have more collaboration, it makes growth faster for us. And when investors come and then they see the system is good enough for them to invest in, they do that. In as much as I also see there's limited number of investors coming into to invest in startups here, which is also a problem.
Yeah.
Which is also a problem. I've had a couple of startup founders that had you also know startup founders that had left here to other places, like Lagos, for instance. Even myself, when I started, I had people that when I was talking to them about the idea, they were like, what are you doing in Anambra? And I come to Lagos. Come to Lagos. So you see, they know.
That's always the advice you get from people. So
Yes.
you ask yourself, if everybody left Anambra and went to do everything
Anyway.
elsewhere, then what happens to Anambra at the end of the
Exactly. So, but these challenges, we've mentioned a whole lot of challenge from the adoption to the support by government with policies and regulations, with the ecosystem not collaborating more. So, if these challenges are being phased out, I mean, government do their part, investors come in, put enough funding, startups are growing, they're collaborating. In 10 years or less, to be honest, Anambra startup ecosystem will be bigger than what we're seeing. It will be.
Definitely, I agree. But picking back to you mentioning government, right?
Yes.
What do you say your thoughts are basically from the Anambra state government in terms of technology, and so far the ecosystem is benefiting, or there's something that the government is doing that is enabling that growth that the ecosystem is craving?
Yes, they are. They are. But I don't know why I am hitting on the topic, the emphasis that this is slow.
Mm,
This is slow, but they are doing their bit, but this is slow. Man, I've seen state government fund the startup ecosystem. I mean massively.
mm,
We're not talking about 100K seed funding. No, we've seen government sponsor startups, fund startups in millions. Government,
mm,
not we're not talking VCs or private investors.
yeah.
So that part is where it's not coming up here.
Mm,
Aside from the last event that Anambra had, there was this event they had sometime where I think about 100 million was set aside for businesses and the rest. I don't know if you remember that event or sometime in November last
that's
year or so.
the Innovation Week.
Yeah, the Innovation Week.
Okay.
I was actually surprised when I saw that amount.
Mm,
That's the biggest I've seen, Seth. I'm
yeah.
not sure I've seen the government put that
Mm,
amount for startups. So, but when we get fundings as more than what we're seeing currently, I
mm,
mean, pick 10 startups, fund them massively, send them out. They grow bigger than what they are currently, and then they
okay.
go outside. Other people coming, in fact, more people, more startups will be coming down to this place. As I said, we have the numbers, we have the businesses, leverage on them. So when government creates that pool for funding enough, you create that pool for funding, fund these startups, educate them more, because there's one thing to give somebody money, there's another thing for the person to be able to know how to use that
Use it,
money.
yeah.
Exactly. So incubate them more, longer time, follow them up too. More like a mentorship for them too.
Mm,
So when they have this funding, they have this mentorship, they have this government backing. To be honest, the sky is not just our limit down here. Basically our starting point. So there's a whole lot for government to do. Now you talk about regulations too. There's a whole lot to taxation, paying this, paying that, and everything. But we don't get the backing as we should. We get drained every time you want to do something.
yeah.
There's somebody collecting, and you know you have to give, but then
Mm,
there's somebody collecting while you're giving. So how do you grow from there?
yeah.
So take it or leave it. Government has a huge role. There's another part of government that don't even adopt the technology from its own domain,
Yeah.
which is always a problem. I'm not faulting anybody, but I think I've seen times when the state government is deploying a technology, but you're deploying a technology from outside for inside.
Mm, I got you.
So how does that work? What happens to the technology being crafted from inside?
Inside, yeah.
You leave the one from inside, you go outside to bring something to come and serve the one inside.
Inside.
So we don't get that encouragement as much as it should. So we have this technology here. Why not use the technology from here? You
Mm,
feel it's not good enough. Why not refine it
mm,
and then use it and put it out?
okay.
So government has a very huge role to play, and they can't back out from it. So the
Okay.
government will do their part, the founders or the owners will do their part, and then we can grow. And we create an atmosphere where everybody will want to come here.
Yeah.
Until we do that, that will always be a problem.
Thanks for pointing that out. So we're at this point where we call a quick pitch. So just like short, no, we're talking about funding, we're talking about investors, and we're very hopeful that investors watch us.
Yes, yeah. We also want the money. We want the
Well,
funding.
want to force. So,
That's the part.
this segment is more or less what the investors want to hear. Something sharp, quick.
All right. Okay. So anyway, we used to pitches like
Yeah,
this.
used to it now.
Yeah, we used to pitches like this.
Yeah.
All right. So as Elia said, Rent24 is basically a platform that connects a property owner and someone who needs this property to rent. So we've had this problem and challenges of people wanting to get rental properties, but then you're spending time, you're spending money, and not getting what you want. So for us, we just have this platform for you. Come, list, find your property, and then rent it out. Everybody go their way. We have a huge market for people to leverage on, a market of up to $4 trillion currently valued. So it's a huge market, and we have a whole lot of persons as users on our platform, ranging about 2,000 in numbers that run transactions on our platform. Also, Rent24 has about a team with 15 years experience. I also have a co-founder, by the way, who I work with, and other team members that help build this product for our users. So there's a whole lot for you to gain as an investor investing in these products. There's a return on investment that is huge for you. The market is huge. So just take a leap and then invest in Rent24 and you get the cash back.
Yeah, we heard it from the horse's mouth. So, do you have any final word as we wrap up today's conversation?
Okay, I'll usually tell people I come across there's nothing you cannot do with technology. And to be honest, technology is the next big thing. If you don't use it, it will eventually end up using you. So without wasting time, one, you basically need to get on the bus and use those technology platforms or products available to you. If not, before you say Jack Robinson, you are out of it and then it's taking over the mainstream. So let's leverage on tech and use tech to build and grow ourselves, our ecosystem, and our community.
Thank you very much. Nicely put. And so, thank you once again for your time being with us today on another episode of Bridging the Gap with Activate Media. I would love you if you can like, subscribe, share, comment, everything, all the good stuff that makes the channel grow and makes us come back and keep creating more of this podcast series that focuses on the Anambra tech ecosystem. My name again is Chualo Chukuma Mezie Okoye, and it's been fun having this conversation with you today.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for
thank you.
coming.
Thank you very much.
All right.